Baruch's broken heart. This is Baruch, and he was one of the scribes of the temple in Jerusalem. A scribe's job was to not only write copies of the scriptures of God, but to study and interpret them to teach others. With such an important job, one would think he would be happy to work in the temple as a scribe, but he was not. In fact, his heart was broken. He had hoped to get a higher office or even to receive the gift of prophecy, but God had other plans for him. Baruch studied hard to become a scribe. His brother was a high-ranking officer for the king in Jerusalem. He often entertained hopes of being someone important or famous in the nation. Whatever great things he dreamed for himself slowly vanished as he worked and supported the great prophet of the Lord, Jeremiah.
I am overwhelmed with trouble. Haven't I had enough pain already? And now the Lord has added more. I am worn out from sighing and can find no rest.
So his heart was broken. Here is how it happened. God promised his people that he would always take care of them. All the people had to do was to follow and worship God and try their best to obey him. If they did this, then God promised to never let their enemies win over them and hurt them. God's people used to be divided into two kingdoms. They had two names, Israel and Judah. The kingdom of Israel did not obey God. They worshipped idols and treated each other badly. Enemies came and destroyed the kingdom. The other kingdom, Judah, had many kings over the years. Some were good kings who worshipped God. Others were not good and worshipped idols. When the people of Israel again forgot God and served idols, God sent the prophet Jeremiah to them. God told Jeremiah,
"Take a scroll and write on it all the words I've spoken to you."
Jeremiah asked his helper, Baruch, to help him. Jeremiah would say the words from God, and Baruch would write them down on a scroll. Soon the scroll was filled with messages from God. The message the Lord gave Jeremiah was that if the people didn't stop worshiping idols, the big city of Jerusalem would be broken down and the beautiful temple and houses would be destroyed. The king and many other people were already angry with Jeremiah. They didn't like when Jeremiah told them that they needed to repent of their sins. To repent meant that they would have to say they were sorry for what they had done wrong. They had to say they were wrong to be following idols and not God. But that wasn't all. Repenting is not just about saying you're sorry for the bad thing you've done. Repenting means that you have to stop doing the bad thing and then try to do good things. They needed to start following God and do what God wanted them to do. Since so many people were angry with Jeremiah, he knew that they might not listen to him. So he asked Baruch to take the scroll to the temple where there were crowds of people gathered. Baruch was to read the words of the scroll to the people. When the people were gathered at the temple, Baruch read the message of the Lord to them. While the people were listening, some of King Jehoiakim's officials also heard the message. They knew the king would not like it. King Jehoiakim liked to worship idols and to disobey God. He would not want to say he was sorry for the bad things he had done. He would not want to change and do good things. The officials knew that the king would not want to hear a message from God about repenting. Some of King Jehoiakim's officials invited Baruch to come and read the message on the scroll to them. After they listened, they asked Baruch where he got the message.
I got it from the prophet Jeremiah, of course.
The king's officials knew that they had to take the scroll to the king, and they knew he would be angry. Before they took the scroll, they told Baruch to get Jeremiah so both of them could go and hide. Then the officials took the scroll away from Baruch and told the king about it. The king sent someone to go and get the scroll and read it out loud. The king grew very angry when he heard God's message. He didn't like it when the message said he should repent. Then the king noticed the fire. Because it was winter, there was a big fire burning to keep everyone warm. Now, whenever a few lines of the message were read, the king would use a scribe's knife and cut off that part of the scroll. Then, when a little more was read, he would cut that part off and throw it in the fire. Soon the whole scroll was burned up. The king did not respect the word of the Lord. Soon another message came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Again, Jeremiah said the words out loud, and Baruch wrote them down, this time on a new scroll. The new scroll contained the same message as the old one, but it also had a special message for King Jehoiakim. Bad things would happen to the king because he did not obey the words of the Lord and repent of his sins. Things in Jerusalem got worse and worse. Baruch wanted to be more than just a scribe, perhaps a great teacher. Now he was hiding from the person who could promote him. But he knew his master Jeremiah spoke the words of God and was right about everything. The king and the nation should listen to God and repent. His heart broke, but God said to him later,
Are you seeking great things for yourself? Don't do it. I will bring great disaster upon all these people, but I will give you your life as a reward wherever you go. I, the Lord, have spoken.
Baruch's broken heart started to mend when God spoke this word to him. How amazing! He recalled the Psalm of David, which said, The Lord hears his people when they call to him for help. He rescues them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He rescues those whose spirits are crushed. He remembered that God promises to deliver you from your troubles. So Baruch scribed a second scroll, and he added God's promise to him right where it belonged, with the other words God gave the great prophet Jeremiah. He treasured the promise God gave him. It reminded him all his days of the way God answered him in his despair. God was faithful to his promise, and Baruch's heart was healed and whole forever.